Hello, I'm Andrew Dyer, and welcome to another edition of the Roundball Report, the only show in the area dedicated to highlighting the excellence of the high school, college, and professional basketball teams which play in the Washington metropolitan area. And here with me again is my co-host, former Sidwell Friends and Duke University star, Janae Hayes. Janae, it's been a minute and a lot has happened on the NBA free agency front since we had you here last.
Most importantly, the decision. Well, I don't want to call it a decision because that has so many negative connotations with it. But LeBron did make a decision, which I know Cleveland fans were happy with this time.
Right, and the Wizards made some decisions about keeping Gortat. They let Ariza go, but laying the foundation for what our guests have said. Are they in it for the long haul?
Well, to discuss that, we're joined by Coach Jimmy Fly, and we have a newbie on set today that I would love to welcome, Tylar Abrams. And via phone, we are joined by Coach Butch McAdams, who is always an avid supporter of the Wizards and their wonderful decisions. So, of course, we have to get him to weigh in on that. Coach, the decisions that have just been made by the Wizards, namely the acquisition of Paul Pierce, the signing of Marcin Gortat, what do you think of those?
I love them. I love them because for the first time, I can say this, and I never thought I'd be saying it.
Okay, we got to make sure the audio is up
But
full
the
level.
Wizards now are acting like a team that wants to win a title. And not just a team that wants to be competitive, that wants to be 500 or be satisfied with getting to the playoffs and maybe winning a round, but now they're talking and acting like a team that has a title in sight. They bring back Gortat, which is a tremendous move. They go out and they bring a veteran who has a championship ring, and a guy when the transition offense is slowed down, and it will be slowed down at some point. They got a guy that can play half court and still get his shot off in Paul Pierce. And Jimmy Fly, most importantly, they did not rob the bank to pay Ariza because they're saving their pennies and their dimes and their quarters for Kevin Durant possibly in a couple of years.
And Coach Fly, that was the same thing that you and Coach McAdams said, is you wanted to hear them say that they were trying to win a championship. They haven't said it in words, but they've said it by their actions. And like Coach said, making every move now to win now, but still be in position to make a move and bringing Kevin Durant potentially home in 2016.
Most definitely. And, Coach, I don't know if you realize this, but Ernie Grunfeld's in a contract year this year. So I think he's making a statement that he wants to stick around for the long haul as well.
That's right.
But I would just add to what you said, Coach, because I'm in complete agreement with that. Re-signing Gooden, snatching Chris Humphries from the Celtics, and then adding DeJuan Blair, who they should have drafted 5 years ago.
Amen.
And they did not. But now you bring in DeJuan Blair has played championship level basketball with the Spurs. He's won 50 games every year in the league other than last year when he won 49 with Dallas. He's played with great players in a winning environment. A former starter, Humphries a former starter. So now at the beginning of last year, they had no bench. Coach Whitman had no options, and that's why they overused Nene. He got hurt. Now you got protection in that back line. If Nene comes up injured again, you can weather that storm with experienced veteran players that are physical and are going to help. Look, when DeJuan Blair starts setting screens for Wall, he's going to like that.
And I'm looking, guys, at their reserves. And, Coach, I'm going to piggyback a little bit on what you just said. I like the experience and the maturity that they can bring off the bench. I mean, they're not bringing rookies or guys who are learning. Now, here's the one caveat and the one mystery, so to speak, one Otto Porter Jr.
And Coach, so far so good, but Tyler, we got to bring you in, and you really are bringing in a new, fresh era. Because Tyler, we've been doing this show for 18 years, and Coach has been on for at least 12 or 13 of those years.
Wow.
And this is the first time in history that the coach has given his sanction, as he said, I've never said this before. He gave his sanction to the direction that the Wizards are going in.
Wow, I'm impressed.
Right. So what are your thoughts about what they've done?
Well, I'm shocked that Chris Humphries is with the Wizards, to be completely honest with you. Because like I was telling Jimmy Fly earlier, I haven't heard much about Humphries since he was with Kim Kardashian. But Jimmy also told me that Humphries is 6'10", and a force to be reckoned with. I think he's going to be a diamond in the rough, to be completely honest with you.
Right, right.
Now, what do we think about the loss of Trevor Ariza? I mean, he was an integral part of the offense, and he facilitated a lot of the defensive stops. And obviously, he went back to Houston, which is, he's been in Houston before. But do the Wizards lose a lot by losing Trevor Ariza?
For my money, no. No, because, again, let's look at the big picture. They would have loved to have brought this guy back, but at a certain price. And you don't want to extend yourself too many years. And again, when Kevin Durant is a free agent, you don't have enough money to offer him. That's the first thing. Secondly, I think Ariza pretty much had a max year. I don't think he's going to get any better. He's a standstill jump shooter and a pretty good defender, but I think they can find somebody to compensate.
And Coach Jimmy Fly, the one thing that Coach said, the answer to the question about Otto Porter, and unlike last summer where he was injured and really didn't have an opportunity to show any signs of hope, he showed the potential of being a rotation player, so you won't have to depend upon Paul Pierce to log major minutes during the regular season if Otto continues to develop.
Well, he's shown in the summer league some growth. He got a little bit bigger, stronger, obviously spent some time in the weight room. He also is somebody I think that can create some offense on his own in the transition. He can run the point on the fast break and make decisions. And he can also beat you off the dribble, which Ariza really doesn't do. He's a spot-up shooter like Coach said. So the bench play, see now you've got Andre Miller re-signed at the point. You got Rice, the young guy, at the 2. You got Otto Porter at the 3. And then you got a combination of Humphries, Blair, and Gooden. So now you go 11 deep.
Right.
At the beginning of last year, the Wizards had the fourth worst bench production in the league, and it cost them because their starters were like top 5 in offensive production.
It cost him Bill and Nene with injuries just from overworking early.
Exactly. So I think they have a team now. They need to take a page from San Antonio, who didn't have one starter play over 30 minutes during the regular season. I don't let Nene play over 27 minutes a game. I can have him healthy for the playoffs.
And again, I think Humphries, I'm going to piggyback a little bit on what Tyler stated. I think Humphries is going to be, looking back this time next year, he's going to be the key acquisition. He's going to be the key acquisition because you can't depend on Nene. I mean, whatever you get from this guy is a bonus.
Right. And, Coach, I just realized, is it just because you're happy with these moves, or is it because today's your birthday and you're in a great mood anyway?
No, I'm never, when I'm talking about the Wizards, I'm never in a great mood. It could be Christmas and I won't be in a great mood.
So, Coach, we didn't get your chance. What about your them bringing back Randy Whitman? Were you happy about that decision?
Yes. Randy Whitman, obviously, I don't look at him as a top-tier coach. He's not Popovich. He's not Rivers. However, he's okay, and he deserved to come back.
So, Tyler, what was you? And when we talked about the Wizards decision, let's talk about the ultimate decision. Now, you were a baby 4 years ago, but do you remember, what did you think about LeBron decision part 2? You like this one better than the first one? They can't. You gotta hear. You gotta say it.
I want him with the Heat. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I want him with the Heat. But I know Cavalier fans are really happy. So he's going home, as everybody said. He's going home.
And I think it's so key. I mean, it's just interesting the way it's always a what have you done for me lately, because although LeBron gave Miami all that he had, and in addition to 2 championships, when he left and departed, which he's rightfully entitled to do, they burned his jersey.
Well, but Coach, we talked about it during the year, and Charles Barkley talked about it. I mean, LeBron was carrying a lot of dead old weight, and it was kind of that look on his face when he walked off the court at the end of Game 5 was very similar to that look when he walked off of Cleveland and with Boston a few years ago.
You know, a couple points, quick points here. Can LeBron honestly look himself in the mirror and say during the playoffs, I'm talking about the playoffs, that I did everything to help my team win? And from my perspective, he did not. Secondly, if you think he's carrying old dead weight, they don't get Kevin Love. He hadn't seen carrying weight.
And right, and this time he's not 23, 22 carrying the weight around.
He's 29.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing, Coach, is name the last NBA franchise that had a bunch of rookie first and second year players, even with LeBron James, that won a title or got to the NBA Finals. You can't, because it doesn't happen.
No. I think that maybe, and look, I think that this was more than a basketball move. Mm-hmm. I think that it was a family move, which I have no problems with. But also I think it was a power move, because LeBron certainly was treated as a top player, but he didn't have full control in Miami. Make no mistake about it, the man is not LeBron, it's Pat Riley.
Right. And Coach Fly, that sets the stage. If LeBron can say by the South Beach for Akron and Cleveland, then it makes it a lot easier to swallow to see that Kevin Durant would leave Oklahoma City to come back home to his roots in the DMV.
Well, it would be wonderful to see, but I caution people, because everybody said they hired the guy that was assistant women's coach at Maryland, that was Kevin Durant's high school coach. But remember, Phil Jackson is in New York, and I keep telling people this, and they keep, saying I'm crazy, but I'm a little crazy. But they hired Derek Fisher, the coach, who played with Durant for several years and who gave a thumbs up to Melo that Fisher's going to do well. They also pilfered one of the top assistant coach from the Thunder staff, who had been there since Kevin Durant was there. So make no mistake, when it comes time, Washington better have, all the money ready to push into the middle of the table and do whatever they have to do, because New York is going to be in the running for Kevin Durant.
But all things being equal, Coach, those that know Kevin Durant, he's not a guy that goes for the big lights. Hence, him being in Oklahoma City, the pull for him to go anywhere else would be to come back to his roots, where he spends all his offseason anyway. Yeah,
I would think, to me, and this is a rare occasion as well, that I'm going to disagree with my partner in crime. I think, and I understand, what he's thinking in terms of Phil Jackson, and I don't bet against Phil as well. However, I agree with you, Andrew, I think it's an either-or situation. Either Kevin Durant stays and completes his career in Oklahoma City, or if he leaves and the money is right, I can't see him not returning home.
Wow, we're going to go to a break on that one, let you digest that, and we're going to come back on the other side. We got to try to get Coach McAdams' opinion on the WNBA All-Star Game. I know he watched it from beginning to end, and we'll continue to discuss the NBA free agent front with Coach Butch McAdams, Coach Jimmy Fly, and Tyler Abrams right after this, so stay with us.